This is Higher Maths. It's the 2012 Paper 2, the calculator paper, and we're looking at question 2. Relative to a suitable set of coordinate axes, diagram 1 shows the line 2x minus y plus 5 equals 0, intersecting the circle here at the points P and Q. Okay, so find the coordinates of P and Q. Right, so what I'm looking to do here is to try and find the coordinates of P and Q will be to rearrange this equation to either say y is equal to or x is equal to, and then substitute the y into here or the x's into there. I'm going to just make it y equals. So let's start off with that. So let's rearrange it. So we've got 2x minus y plus 5 equals 0. So what I'll do here is I'll just take that y over to that side there. So y is equal to 2x plus 5. Okay. What I'm going to do is then I'm going to substitute y is equal to 2x plus 5 into the circle equation. So that's going to be x squared plus y squared minus 6x, we've got minus 2y minus 30 equals 0. So what I'm doing is wherever I see y, I'm going to put in 2x plus 5, in there and in there. Here we go. 2x plus 5, that's squared, minus 6x minus 2 times the 2x plus 5, and I've got minus 30 hanging on the end there, and that equals 0. Right, from there let's multiply out the brackets and then we'll gather things up. 4x squared, that's going to be plus 20x plus 25, I've got minus 6x there, just tidy that up. I've got minus 4x, multiplying this bracket out, minus 10 minus 30 equals 0. Right then, let's gather all of the bits up that we can. So the x squared, I've got 5x squared here. So the x's, I've got minus 10 and I've got 20, so that's going to give me a plus 10x here. And the numbers, I've got 25 minus 10 minus 30 should give me minus 15. So that equals 0. Right, let's take a common factor out to try and factorise this, make it a bit easier for ourselves. And then we'll factorise what's left. Okay, so one's a negative, okay, one's a positive, the largest one's a positive, so there we go. And from there, what I can do is I can get out the x coordinates. So I've got x minus 1 equals 0, so x equals 1, and here I've got x plus 3 equals 0, so x equals minus 3. Okay, so what I have to find out is the coordinates, just not just the x coordinates. So let's go ahead and substitute these values into the y equation. So substitute the x equals 1 into, and we're going to put it into y is equal to 2x plus 5. Okay, so when I substitute the 1 in, get out a value of 7. And so the coordinate that I've got here is going to be 1, 7. What I'll do over this side here, I'll substitute the x is equal to minus 3 into the same equation again, okay? So that's 2x plus 5. So the minus 3 going in, so it's 2 times minus 3 plus 5, that's going to give me minus 6, that'll give me a minus 1 there. Right, so what I've got here is, I've got minus 3 minus 1, okay? So that's going to be the answer to that second part there. Right, so now when I try and work out what the coordinates are, so the one that's furthest left is going to be the minus 3, so that's going to be P, and the one that's furthest right is going to be Q, so there's my P and the Q. So that's the marks for, or that's the part A complete. Right, let's look on to the next part of the question. So what we've got is we've got a part B here. So in part B, the diagram shows the circle from A, okay, and a second congruent circle. So a congruent circle would be having the same radius and diameter. So that's they both pass through the points P and Q. Determine the equation of this second circle. Right, so I've not even got I've got the equation of the first circle. What I'd need to do is to find the centre of this circle here and then try and find the centre of this circle over here. Okay, so let's go for finding the centre, okay, of the original. Okay, right, so let's write down the equation of the original. So I've got x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 2y minus 30 equals 0. So from here I can see that 2g is going to equal to minus 6. So g is equal to minus 3, and 2f is equal to minus 2, f is equal to minus 1. So I know that the circle centre will be minus g minus f. So from here I've got the centre for circle 1 is going to be 3, 1. Okay? So if I had the centre of the circle here, so say it was somewhere about there, that there would be C1 and that would be 3, 1. Okay. What I'm interested now in finding out is to find out the other circle centre over here somehow, and one way I'm going to do that is by looking at the midpoint of PQ. So if I get a midpoint of PQ somewhere there, and what we'll do is I know that it's going to be lying on the perpendicular bisector of this one. So it's going to lie out here somewhere, and I'm going to find the centre of the circle over here. Before I go and do that, what I'll do is I'll just find the radius of this circle, because I'll need to use that just a bit later on. So the radius and the radius formula is in the formula list. What we'll go for is minus 3 squared, and I'm going to add to that minus 1 squared and minus 30, okay, from that point there. That's the C value. That's going to be 9 plus 1 plus 30, and that's going to give me root 40. And if I simplify that down in surd form, what I get is 2 root 10. 2 root 10 is the radius of the circle, the original circle, and also the second circle that's here. Right, so to try and find out this point here, I'm going to have to find the midpoint of PQ, and then I'm going to step it out to try and find the centre of this circle that's here. Right, so midpoint of PQ, and all we'll do is we'll take the coordinates of P and Q that we worked out up above. Right, I've got minus 3 plus 1 all over 2. I've got minus 1 plus 7 all over 2. And from there, that will give me the coordinates of the midpoint. So that will give me minus 1, and that will give me 3. So there's the midpoint coordinates. So that's here, that's this point here. So that's minus 1, 3. That's a midpoint. Right, so what I'd mentioned is that we can step out to find out this centre here. I'll show you two ways of doing this. I'll show you a stepping out method, and we'll also look at a midpoint method to work that out. So first of all, if I think about moving along the way to get to this point, I'm going to have to move along to here and just up to here. Right? So what I've done there is to step along from 3 to minus 1, I've had to move along 4 in that direction there, and 2 up in that direction there. So if I just apply the 4 along and 2 up to this one here as well, so 4 in this direction and 2 up in that direction there. Okay, so that's 4 and that's 2 again. Okay, so if I just try and step that through, right, so 4 in this direction will take me to minus 5, so that'll be minus 5, and up by 2, 2 onto that will give me 5, 5. So that'll be the centre 2. So that's me found the centre. So I'll just write down the C2 is equal to minus 5, 5. Okay. Right, so I've got the centre of this circle. I've also got the radius of it because they're congruent circles. So let's just substitute it into the equation. So the equation that I'm going to use is going to be just from the formula sheet again. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll substitute in the A value here and the B value there. So what I have is x minus, and it's going to be minus 5, so that'll be a plus 5 that'll appear there, and y minus 5 squared, and what we have is the radius squared. I'm just going to go for the root 40, and when I square that out, that should make it a bit simpler for me. And from here, what we've got is x plus 5 squared plus y minus 5 squared is equal to, and that will just be 40. And that should be the question complete. What I did say is that I would show you a different way of doing this stepping method that's here. And what we can do is we can use the midpoint formula for it. And the midpoint formula, remember, is equal to x1 plus x2 all over 2 and y1 plus y2 all over 2. But if I know what the midpoint is, and I know this midpoint here is the minus 1, 3. Okay, so what I could then say is that this part here, the x part, will equal minus 1. And I can substitute the value of 3 in there. So what I could then say is for this part would be x1 plus x2 all over 2 is equal to minus 1. So I'll just substitute the value for x1 in, which will be from the centre 1. So that'll be 3 plus x2 all over 2 equals minus 1. So plus x2 is equal to minus 2, so x2 is equal to minus 5. So that's the x coordinate of the circle. Okay. Just do the same with the y coordinates. So what we've got is we've got y1 plus y2 all over 2 is equal to, and it's going to be equal to, let's go for, where are we? It will be the 3 that'll come out there. Right, let's multiply across the way. So that will be, or I'll just fire the values in first of all. So that will be 1 plus y2 all over 2 is equal to 3. So 1 plus y2 is equal to 6. So y2 is equal to 5. So then I can say that the centre of the second circle will be minus 5, 5. So two different methods of doing it. I find the stepping method quite simple. This one here is okay as well. That's another method to use for it. Right, let's see how we're going to get this one marked up. So we've got quite a lot of marks coming out here. We've got 12 marks in total for this question. Right, so first mark will be for rearranging the straight line equation into that form there. So there's one. A mark for substituting that into the circle equation. A mark for gathering that all up together into a trinomial form. One mark for factorising it out to there, and we'll get 1 mark for getting our x coordinates here. And finally, I would give 1 mark for getting the P and Q in the correct way round. Now these ones can also be marked in this direction here. If you get the 1, 7 correct, but you get the minus 3, minus 1 incorrect, you can mark it that way, or that way there. Okay, so that's 6 marks in total for part A. Right, let's move on to part B and just get the marking for that one. Right, so the first mark we'll get will be for the centre of the original circle. We'll get another mark for the radius, and we'll go for just the root 40 for that one there. I'll get 1 mark for getting the midpoint, PQ. I'll get 1 mark for either stepping this out, so I'll take the mark from there, stepping that out, or for this bit down here, okay? And getting the centre will be a mark there for that one. And finally, what we'll do is we'll just get 1 mark for getting the equation of that circle. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6 marks. With the marks up above, it's out a total of 12.